I think it's very disrespectful to our country.
He's exercising his constitutional right to make a statement. I think there's a long history of sports figures doing so. I think he cares about some real, legitimate issues that have to be talked about.
The polar opposite stances of crushing dissent to understanding protest from two ex-presidents.
Trying to remind folks that part of what makes this country special is that we respect people's rights to have a different opinion.
That being the 44th Commander-in-Chief Barack Obama.
You have to stand proudly for the national anthem. Well, you shouldn't be playing, you shouldn't be there. Maybe you shouldn't be in the country.
And 45th, Donald Trump.
Your San Francisco quarterback, I'm sure nobody ever heard of him. NFL owners don't want to pick him up because they don't want to get a nasty tweet from Donald Trump. Do you believe that?
Because of that ability to protest and engage in free speech, America over time has gotten better. We've all benefited from that.
The realization that protest makes society better, not worse.
Look, when they take a knee, there's plenty of time to do knees and there's plenty of time to do lots of other things. When you go down and take a knee or any other way, you're sitting, essentially, for our great national anthem. You're disrespecting our flag and you're disrespecting our country.
There is a specific problem that is happening in the African American community that's not happening in other communities. And that is a legitimate issue that we've got to address.
Acknowledging what the protest is about and why it is vital to be a part of.
I think it's a terrible thing. And, he'll maybe he should find a country that works better for him. Let him try. It won't happen.
My hope would be that as this debate surfaces, we're always reminding ourselves that in a democracy like ours, there are going to be a lot of folks who do stuff that we just don't agree with. But as long as they're doing it within the law, then we can voice our opinion objecting to it, but it's also their right.
Exactly. Something the MAGA crowd seems to never fully grasp.
The NFL should have suspended him for one game and he would have never done it again. They could have then suspended him for 2 games and they could have suspended him if he did it a 3rd time for the season and you would never have had a problem. You cannot disrespect our country, our flag, our anthem. You cannot do that.
The only way that we make it work is to see each other, listen to each other, try to be respectful of each other, not just go into separate corners. And the test of our fidelity to our Constitution, to freedom of speech, to our Bill of Rights, is not when it's easy, but when it's hard. We fight sometimes so that people can do things that we disagree with. But that's what freedom means in this country.
Because they like it when people actually stand for the American flag, right?
You've heard me talk about in the past the need for us to have an active citizenry. Sometimes that's messy and controversial and it gets people angry and frustrated. But I'd rather have young people who are engaged in the argument and trying to think through how they can be part of our democratic process than people who are just sitting on the sidelines and not paying attention at all.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. The man was not perfect. There are many things he did that I completely disagreed with. But on this front, right here, seeing how presidential someone could be in comparison to not, seeing how they could honor protest and dissent and not fearmonger and hate someone for having an opposing view. Quite honestly, breath of fresh air.